What's up, y'all? It's Shuffle, and today's video is talking about Black Reliquary, which is a massive mod overhaul to Darkest Dungeon. It's essentially a new game, kind of using just the Darkest Dungeon framework. I think that's pretty cool. Some people have voiced their concerns and whatnot, so I understand, but this video is going to be explaining Black Reliquary. It's going to take you through some of the changes, how it plays, what it looks like, to see if you want to download it yourself, which I recommend you do if you like this game. If you like Darkest Dungeon, you'll probably enjoy this. There's some other stuff that, there are a lot of changes that I have to go through, or that we have to talk about, so I guess I should just get started. So, obviously, before we get started, just going back and forth with this, but all the normal YouTube stuff, so give the video a thumbs up if you enjoy it, leave a comment with your thoughts, check out the box below for all the social media stuff like Discord, Twitter, Twitch, and Patreon. Okay. See, quick and painless. So yeah, for Black Reliquary, there are two things. You have to have the mod itself turned on, so whenever you have mods from the Steam Workshop, I will also make sure to put the link down below so you can download it yourself. But from the Steam Workshop, you'll get this hammer icon, and that's for mods. So that's what this is here. So once you get the mod, if you have no other mods, this will appear, and then you can click it, and then install it. So you just click the checkbox, and it turns on. You cannot have any other mods, they said. So when I got the instructions on installing this, they said no other mods at all. I tried faster walking. I have not crashed with faster walking, but I'm pretty sure pretty much anything else is going to crash it, so even skins can mess it up. So if you're having issues, just try and run it by itself, and maybe at most faster walking. I wouldn't even try faster combat, to be honest, if you have that type of stuff. The other thing too is all DLC has to be enabled. Even Butcher's Circus has to be on, is what they said. So you have to download all of this stuff, turn all of it on, and that will make the game run. So if you're having issues starting it because people said that, you probably don't have one of these on. And then if you do, and you're following everything I've said so far, then I can't help you, so I apologize. But if you're someone that's I really don't want to buy all the DLC, I don't have Color of Madness, so I really want to pay for that, I understand. Money's tight, I get it. But right now, Darkest Dungeon, everything's on sale. So if you've been wanting to get stuff, I think the DLC is half off right now. I can't remember. But now is the time to get it. So if you just wanted it for yourself, and this is kind of your tipping point, then dive in. So once you have all of the DLC and you have every mod turned off except for Black Reliquary itself, we can start. We're on an airship. It's very cool. It's a completely different type of setting. It's not like the gothic medieval horror type of thing. It's more of a...
We must be at our finest to succeed.
There's a new narrator, but this is a type a Middle Eastern Persian type of feel to this, which is pretty cool. So there's you get the airship. There's a new narrator who honestly knocks it out of the park. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's not the ancestor, so this and that. And again, I understand those criticisms, but for me personally, I played so much DD that hearing a different narrator really gives it that expansion type of feel. So if you're not really feeling Darkest Dungeon 2 right now, or if you don't want to wait for, if you're being impatient about it, or if you don't want to play it on Epic Game Store, this will probably hold you over for a long time. Very cool stuff. So we have a new narrator. He has a lot of lines. I wish he had more, just because the ancestor in the original game is just always in your ear, every 2 seconds. That's a lot of dialogue to record. That is very taxing, difficult, and time-consuming. So I completely understand why there isn't more. But it's more I just enjoy the narrator so much in this mod. I was going to say expansion. But I enjoy the narrator so much in this mod that I wish I could hear more of him. So shoutouts where shoutouts are due. So yeah, the airship is just your hamlets. So all the facilities got renamed. And I have trouble keeping track of where everything is, so I just use the sidebar, because you could use that before in the original game. But this is the narrator. It's not the ancestor, it's the captain. Very dashing individual there. I think they're going to change these at some point, at least these background images. They just have them for now, because it's not fully released. It's still doing testing and stuff. But your stagecoach is up here. That's pretty easy to remember. Your ferry. And we have different heirlooms. So instead of the ones we're used to, we have just 4 different ones. They're basically the same. I think they even have very similar rates of use and exchange. Yeah. So all the stuff you're pretty much used to. But what's okay, we emptied the stagecoach last time I played. What is worth talking about too is all of the heroes have been like modified in some way or rebalanced. There are new quirks. There's this system called affiliation, where heroes can be either religious, faithless, or pagan. So there's 3 different ones. It's kind of like a, you know, triangle type of deal. Like, you know, affinities in other games have like fire, ice, and like earth, stuff like that. So there's that going on. Each affiliation does matter quite a bit. There are skills that boost other affiliations and others that punish it. So like Solemnity with Leper. If other heroes are religious, when you use Solemnity, you heal them for 2 extra stress. Pretty cool. So now Leper is a party stress healer if everyone's religious. There's a lot of stuff going on there. Like there are a lot of new effects too. Like I can never pronounce it. Like Expiate, which is some kind of debuff where if you attack a certain amount of times, I think you take like extra damage for attacking them, and then also you heal the enemy party after it wears off. So just really crazy stuff out there. It takes a bit to get your head around. Every hero has this extra box on their skill bar that you can't use. It just says additional information. It just tells you all of the background stuff happening with the characters. So you get your base virtue chance, your critical effects, because some of those may have changed, and then it has the riposte ability. So the reason everyone has a riposte skill is because characters like Man-at-Arms can give you riposte. So command in this game gives the target character riposte and then gives them crit. That's one of the changes. I don't know if there's anything else besides that and the default riposte abilities that give riposte, but I'm sure there's, if it's not in the works already or in the game, then it probably will come at some point. Yeah, so every character got changed. That's too much to really go over. So if you do play it, I recommend taking some time reading it, learning it, especially your favorite characters. Like some characters didn't get much, like Arbalest. Arbalest is largely the same. We'll talk about preparation around later, but Arbalest didn't really change much. She had a couple changes, but not much. Meanwhile, Musketeer is a new character. She has basically 3 different versions of all her stuff. It's kind of like Falconer if you played that class. So she has ammo types that she can load into her gun. It's a free action. You can just rotate through it as many times you want to. Very cool. And each different ammo type does something different to your attacks. So you have like Bombard, where she throws a bomb. So if you do it on the, actually it can't ever be riposted, but if you do it on standard ammo type, it breaks guard. If you use Shrapnel ammo type, it does bonus damage. So it evens out the damage penalty, which you're throwing a full cleave at the enemy team for full damage. Like that is pretty crazy, you know. That might actually be overtuned. And then if you go to Concussive ammo, which is the 3rd type, then you lower everyone's dodge and accuracy. That's pretty cool. I guess while we're here, we'll talk about diseases. So diseases have 2 forms now. There are symptoms, and then there are the full-on diseases. So things like you're used to, where it's just a massive stat drop or some kind of huge penalty. That's the full-on disease. And then you have the symptoms that I guess they're precursors. I was going to say predate them. I guess it is predating. But the symptoms have smaller penalties that are a bit easier to deal with, but they do become full diseases after a certain time. I don't know if it's just like one mission, but it does happen. And my one complaint about the disease and symptoms thing is I think it is pretty cool, because one of the like most ridiculous things in Darkest Dungeon, the vanilla game, is that when you get hit with a disease, it's there immediately. Like diseases don't do that. They take time to like incubate and then, you know, infect you. So this gives you symptoms at first, and those are like, you won't get punished immediately in the dungeon. You'll probably be able to finish the dungeon like without really noticing it. And then when you get back to town, it's time to start trying to figure out what to do about it. You also get disease kits, which treat diseases. So you can have them as like tended, or I forget what the other types are. But disease kits are something you can buy, but also characters can produce them while camping. Cool stuff. Yeah, so what else can we talk about? All of the stats look pretty bloated. They changed the damage just across the board. They changed HP. It feels like it's doubled. Speed, they said they just doubled it because it's easier to work with. So just all the speed may look, you know, insane. You know, level 1 Leper at 4 speed, Hellion at 9, Shieldbreaker at 12, stuff like that. Everyone's just got massive speed. That's just because it's a balance thing. So it still feels largely the same in that regard. Like I said, a lot of characters got big changes. Maybe I should just make a video talking about it. I don't know. Like Pierce, for instance, can't hit rank 4 or 3 anymore, so rip Pierce. It's actually weird playing Shieldbreaker because you're so used to just hitting Pierce spam on like rank 4 enemies, and you can't do that anymore. You just have to like do other stuff. Yeah, so let me take a look at my notes real quick. So districts are a thing. They have returned. They are the common ones, like the original ones from the game right now, but they said they're going to change these to fit the theme. Like these are just basically placeholders, but they said you're probably either going to be adding on to, I think, this boat, or you're going to be building a second ship, something like that. So you get a lot of extra goodies, but like if you play the vanilla game, this is stuff you're used to. So I think we can talk about trinkets a little bit. I don't remember if there are any common like class trinkets, but all the class trinkets are a bit like they're all green and higher that I've seen. There are also 3 types of attacks. I forgot to actually talk about that. I think Crusader's a good example. So you have melee and ranged, which you're used to, but now you have a new type of attack called mystical. This is basically just the things that get closest to magic in this game, because Darkest Dungeon doesn't really have magic. It's not that type of universe except for the occult. I don't mean occultists, I just mean the eldritch stuff is the only like presence of magic besides the holy power that the religious people have by default. So like Crusader can heal people, Vestal can just raise her hand and your wounds close, for instance. So that's an example of like magic. That's the closest this game gets to it, which I guess is pretty magical in a lot of ways. But things like Zealous Accusations, no longer a range attack, it is a mystical attack and it hits the target with Expiate. That's that debuff I was talking about, and some characters benefit from that, like Leper. Gets bonus damage against expiated targets. So what you can do is get some synergy, you know, get a fast Crusader, tap someone with expiate, and then Leper gets bonus damage. It's kind of like a, besides like the debuff, which is really interesting, it's kind of like a pseudo mark. There are a lot of pseudo mark things in this game. The other one is Amber Blight, which I can't remember which, like all the characters that get this, but I know Occultist is probably the one that sticks out to me the most. So Amber Blight is, it's just a debuff that hits the enemy and it gives you different effects. It really is like a different kind of mark, is what it feels like, the more I think about it. So characters have that, look out for that synergy. The enemies can use it too, I believe, so be careful about that as well. There are quirks you get like during battle, which is pretty fun. So if you fight a lot of the Levantine enemies, then eventually you get Levantine Slayer. I think there's 1 or 2 other Levantine ones. I might be just thinking of the same one. I think there's Skirmisher. I think that's the other one, but I'm not gonna go looking for it. So yeah, a lot of big changes. A lot of big changes. Some characters haven't changed at all, but here's another example, right? PD hits a target with Amber Blight and then clears corpses instead of stunning it. But yeah, you can tell which characters they had like some really big ideas for, and which ones they just thought were good as they were and didn't want to touch them, or just didn't know what to do with them. So the preparation round, I guess we need to talk about too, but I think it's time we just like do a battle or something. So I'm gonna take a minute here to prepare a team, and then we'll walk through a battle together. All right, here's our starter team for this that we're about to do here. I think I'm gonna switch this actually. I don't want to use, I don't know, I kind of want to, whatever. There's really nothing for Flagellant to do. This is something one of the people working on this said. They're like, Flagellant doesn't really have much to do in the preparation round, and I kind of agree just looking at his stuff. He basically has Suffer, or you just try and like hit Rain of Sorrows. So we're gonna run this team, which is a pretty good team in vanilla, and this is just focusing on 2 bounty hunters. You get to use Caltrops to backline cleave and ignore the preparation round accuracy thing, so that's pretty fun and cool. We have Plague Doctor just because, you know, Plague Doctor's pretty good, and then like Plague Doctor doesn't change much either, so this is pretty straightforward to play. Then we have Flagellant, who again feels pretty much the same. They took away his what did they take away? His uses per battle, and now it just has a cooldown, which is fine. I like that. So yeah. Then for Trinkets, we just have like speed, damage, stun, defenses, right? Dazzling Charm got buffed, which I was like, what? Yeah. So every single mission, like a short mission gives you a camp. You don't usually need, like, I can't say you don't need this. Also, why is this 16? This shouldn't be 16. Did they change that when I wasn't looking? I don't know. But you get a camp for everything. So people are going to say this game, like this mode is hard at first, and it is. It's definitely different. but you also get to camp, and camping just makes things a lot easier. Like, the mission length does not change. It's like the same amount of rooms that the default stuff is, you just get to camp now. The new items are the disease kit, so this is what we were saying before, where it helps you mitigate disease effects, which is great. Then you have the archaeology kit. This thing seems to work on pretty much everything, so if you don't know what to use on the curio, try the archaeology kit. And then we have ginseng. This replaces medicinal herbs. Honing oil is a new thing. I forget what it does. I think it gives you armor piercing, but you can use it on curio. And then you get cleansing salt, which is pretty much holy water, I believe. So some stuff's familiar, some stuff is new. Laudanum. There are things that use horror more frequently, so laudanum gets better. And I guess we're just going to take like this normal stuff here. I'll just take something safe. I can't remember if anything Blight's in here. I don't know. So far, it's just one area that we get access to, but it's cool. I'm going to take all 4 of these. You will spend these. They cost a lot, right? They cost 400, but they get used. Alright. So, Catacombs is the first region they gave us. There are 3 different factions, I think. There's the Cavarots. I never know how to pronounce that, I'm sorry. The Levantine. And then there's a religious faction, which maybe we'll see all of them.
Establish a route through this area.
Talked over the narrator. So this is pretty close to what a short is normally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's like 2 rooms over what shorts normally are. This is kind of like a medium almost, I guess. So stuff that you're used to.
Ancient and fallen into disrepair.
And so since I've already used a lot of the curio, I get to see what it, works. Nice. Good use of the archaeology kit. Don't usually see that. Kind of sad I used 1 shovel. So here's our first look at new enemies. These all look very cool. Full light surprise is not cool. I'm trying to show off this video. I had to spend my prep round moving. It's alright. But we're going to try the caltrops spam. Let's see how this does. So, this character is kind of like a jester. He group heals, he moves around, and then he like finales you. It's literally called Samsara Death. So you have to be very careful. And this dude just powers up and then eventually just runs you over. So, kind of dangerous. This is usually the most dangerous thing here. So right now I'm kind of looking at these 2 to get rid of. This is your generic just frontline dude. He hits, and he guards too, so that's cool. And then this thing is pretty dangerous, but I think what I've learned most is to have a tanky frontline, so this kind of isn't it, because of Bounty Hunter. Like, I had a lot of success running Shield Breaker and Flagellant because it kind of shuts these down, because you can block, and then Flagellant can just take the hits from these. These guys hit pretty hard, and they put up a really mean riposte. So we'll see. He usually does it on the prep round too. So the prep round, I forgot to explain it while I was in here. So the prep round is a round of combat where you can like apply your buffs and your various debuffs or heal if you need to, if you took damage from the previous round. It's actually pretty helpful for the player. The other thing about the prep round too is all accuracy is like cut in half. So I guess I could have showed you. I'll try and remember to show you in the next fight, but accuracy is so low in the prep round. Like when you're starting, you're only gonna have like 30 to 40% accuracy on most moves. So you're not really incentivized to use normal attacks in the prep round. You can, especially later. I feel like once I got to level 2 and I got some accuracy trinkets, I can get my accuracy up to like 50. And if I have a jester that can give us battle ballad, then it's actually pretty reasonable to hit things in the prep round. So I don't know if that's gonna get changed or not as it is. Music's also fantastic. If you can't hear it, I think I turned it down just a little bit because it was a bit loud. But yeah, so we used our prep round. We got our 2 things of caltrops down. We had to move, so I couldn't do more stuff in the prep round. And now we're going to just start doing damage. So the thing with... we stick the debuff twice? Yeah, we did. That one resisted, okay. Yeah, so damage over time seems very powerful. Like the 2 things that are pretty good are damage over time and Mark seem very strong. Direct damage, so just using like Smite and Leper and stuff, they do fine, but they don't do as well. The other thing too is Mark cannot be resisted. I think that's because in the prep round, Mark would be just too free and it'd be like the go-to strategy if there wasn't some kind of penalty to it, so I understand. But it's just weird. You know, played for like 6 years or 5 years or whatever with Mark not being resisted, you can just miss, and then it changed. So the other thing too is you can't see the symbols for what the attacks do. So like, I think Caustic Impact is literally a Blight attack, so you can't see the Blight symbol. I think they were telling me that there are like technical limitations that they just had to forego those, and you can't see when an enemy resists something, which kind of sucks because it really messes up the information that the player gets, that you can't see what gets resisted. But at the same time, if you just look down at the bar, you can keep track of it. So if you don't see that it applied, assume it was resisted. Yeah, so we want to kill this backline first. In a lot of the cases, you don't actually have to kill the backline first, it feels like. Because there are some threatening backliners, like the Archer is very dangerous. And there are a fair amount of dangerous frontliners as well. So you have to have this like even party going on. I think I'm just going to hit my Caltrops one more time. I'm going to try to. And if that sticks, he might be dead. He is. Nice. Oh, he's going to heal. Okay, it didn't cure, though. So we want to use Bounty Hunter just to try. Yeah, okay. This is fine. This way I don't have to deal with this attack up here, or what's coming. So I'm pretty sure, I think he buffs. Here's the big attack. That move just hurts. And it has a debuff that increases damage taken. So, kind of scary. We didn't get it that time. But also he gets this riposte that hits fairly hard. So really the best way to handle these, I feel like, is to just ignore them for a while. This guy's dead already. And I remember a lot of people were saying, like, the game, like, this mode feels difficult, and in some ways it is. But I think if you're having trouble, when you get to, like, level 2, and you start getting some trinkets and you understand how the enemies work, it's actually not that bad. So the riposte is gone, so leaving this dude alone seems to be like the good strat. And then we get this. Doing our damage, hitting our fat exsanguinates. Damage over time, like I said, very powerful. And this, that resisted. And then we can mark and set up the other bounty hunter right now. Because I made one bounty hunter a setup type with like the setup loadout, and then this one, he's got stun, but he's mostly for damage. Oh, he resisted mark. There you go. So there goes all my damage. I guess I could have just double tapped him. Alright, nice. I'm afraid of a crit right there, because that's where Flagellant starts to run into trouble, just as a character, is when he has to use his low health stuff repeatedly. Okay, so this first fight's over. I think we're going to let Flage try and kill it. Get some stress off him. Eat some food.
There is much to do.
Clementine supplies. These are just free chests, basically.
For sale or for study, these artifacts are precious.
What's these artifacts? Narrator's so good. Narrator is, in fact, fantastic. So what we have to do is in rooms? Yeah, okay. That's a pot. I forget what we can use there. Oh, that's right. So one of the things they told me, which makes a lot of sense. So here, yeah, see? Can't crit on prep round, accuracy cut in half. Flagellant doesn't really have much to do in the prep round, so we just kind of Hail Mary these. Like, you could suffer if you really wanted to. But you see, this one ignores accuracy penalty, so it's got full effectiveness. And also lowers their accuracy, which is pretty good if they try and like do some garbage too. But when I was talking to the devs on this, because a lot of them were really cool and they hung out my stream, so shout out to all of you. They said that a lot of the Levantine enemies are based off of the heroes. They're just kind of like Levantine versions of the heroes. So we have, you know, a Jester, there's a Man-at-Arms, we have a Houndmaster, it's a Birdmaster, and I forget what this guy is. But I think he's just like a generic dude. Sorry about that. But that other, the hooded figure that we fought in the last fight, that's supposed to be like a Plague Doctor. So really cool. That means there's a lot of enemies. They're very diverse. I like it a lot. And I think we're just going to start with this. Feels kind of bad. Oh. You also get the cooldown for this, so we can't blinding gas back to back, which feels bad. Resisted. Didn't resist that time. So getting a surprise in the prep round just means you get to go first, which is actually very, very good. Lets you get a lot of stuff done. So that kind of sucks. That's why we wanted that debuff on him, because that was probably like a 40% chance to hit us, and it did. So you get buffs. This is the Jester effect right here. So move resist and accuracy. That's actually kind of scary because that makes it harder to disrupt the Jester copy here. Because right now, I'm kind of afraid of this enemy the most because I think he gets like 2 turns and then it just finales you. And that thing can crit for like 50. It hits very hard. So we're going to try and kill the Jester for the enemy team. Resisted. Is this under 50? What's it at? It's not quite half. Need like a couple more points there. Alright. I don't think anyone can heal on this team, yeah. We can get the Houndmaster up front. He can't do anything, which is cool. So flashbang. And flashbang the front guy. Nice. Even with the move resist. Oh, is it gone? No, it's there. This is an aura. Is this from him? I thought it was from the Jester. Okay. And sure. Let's get rid of this accuracy thing. These ones don't have like very strong accuracy, but getting an extra 10 from this guy makes their normal just slice hit actually a bit threatening. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of just like the art and the music, just all the little bits and bobs they did a fantastic job with, I feel like. So this guy just bleeds out entirely. Finish him reaching into rank 3. Kind of scary because I don't have a lot of I should have healed that. I didn't pay attention. Resisted. Feels bad. This is a horror attack, I think. They added a lot of extra... Oh, it's just chess. I was going to say, they added a lot of horror to the game, and it's not as overbearing as you'd think. I'm trying to stun him here. It's kind of like an inverse Cry Havoc. It's a really simplistic but interesting way to build characters, I feel like. 14, PDS 17. So I think I'm going to go for this. I'm going to start healing with Flag. He's going to... Oh, he resisted. Nice. I was going to say, he's going to start bleeding himself here. And... flashbang this dude, sure. The other thing too is they changed how stun resist buffs work. So you get... It's really hard to like change stun things because they get the normal type of boost of stun resist after they get stunned once, but then they get a passive stun resist thing that lasts for like the rest of the battle. So you see here, I stun this person once. They have 10 stun resist for the battle. The same thing's gonna happen to this dude afterwards. So when he comes out of stun, he's gonna have the 10% thing. Unless I kill him here, actually. Okay. Yeah, see? For one battle. He's got the 2-round stun resist buff, and then he's got the 1 battle. 5 speed. Okay. Start healing these dudes. Hopefully he just doesn't crit me to Death Door or something like that. 21 in bleed. Whew. Resisted the mark again. That kind of messes me up, dog. Kind of messes up what I'm trying to do. The AI also feels a bit smarter in what it does. Because in the base game, the enemies try to snowball who has the highest stress, but in this one it actually feels like they target things a bit better. Okay, so we have... Yeah. So we have some good damage over time happening. I'll take these. I'm not sure which heirlooms I quite need. Okay, so we're done here. Loot.
Secure it and march on.
They buffed all the gem values too, so they're much higher. I can't remember if gold stacks up to the same amount though. I'm gonna go like this. 11 times supplies. I feel like I'm streaming without streaming right now. Oh, traps. There are 2 different kinds of traps. There's just a regular, kind of like ruins type of trap, where it does a flat amount of damage, then gives you some stress. Then there's a log, like a, not a log trap, it's like a pillar trap that just slams shut. That thing hurts. They said it's pretty rare. Also, scouting got nerfed, so scouting this kind of stuff is much more difficult. Okay, so that's a... I thought it was a Plague Doctor thing, but it's like the same graphic, but it's been changed. I don't know if that's worth, honestly. Like, I can get rid of other stuff, but I don't know if it's sold for more than a gold stack. But something else I was going to talk about is I put the game on Blood Moon, so I think their HP like reflects the Blood Moon changes, but the other changes aren't there. So in Blood Moon you lose 7 torch per tile, and this you lose 6. So that just didn't change. Or like it didn't change the way it was supposed to. And there's no death limit and time limit, so that's fine though. It's a mod. I don't know, it's just, this has been really fun. I've been really enjoying this, and I've already gotten comments of people wanting me to go back to it, so I might at some point. I don't know if I can do a full playthrough. I might when it releases. My initial plan kind of thing is like maybe play DD2 for a while. Like I'm gonna play it for, you know, ever or whatever for the next probably a couple years depending on what happens. But like when I get like before DD2 is fully released and like for really starving on content, we can just come back and play this. It's pretty cool. You just spam caltrops? Guess not. Alright, that should be close to enough. It's 18. 18, they're taking a double. Alright, hopefully we bait this dude into wasting... Oh, JK. Let's say wasting his turn on guarding, but... Train slash. Hooah! Surprised that did 9. That feels like it hits for like 14 every time. Flamethrower. So, like I said, horror is pretty common in this, but it's not like super oppressive, which I like. You know, it's not 3x3 or 4x5 or something like that. It's, you know, right now it's like 2. So it's just a little bit of stress, just to get you thinking about it. There are a lot of camp skills and stuff that give horror too, like Occultist. Instead of stressing out the party just normally by hitting it with a flat stress amount, he he drops horror on the party instead. Can we stun? We're at 60% stun chance, sure. They changed how Mark works too. I think it wears off at the end of the round, which sounds almost the same, but it makes it better against multiple action enemies, which I haven't seen any yet. I haven't fought the first boss either, so I'm not sure what's going on with the first boss. Thought about curing the Flagellant, but I'm going to let him bleed down into Ginseng, I think. Does this have a damage penalty? Yeah, it does, -20. Okay, so when this thing gets to half, it ends up doing a... like, it kind of blows up like Thrall. So we're going to do a little bit of damage and hope it goes down at the end of the next turn. Should do pressure, yeah, malfunction. It does this at half HP, and this thing has blown up on me a few times because of that. I said we're gonna let Flage bleed down, but I may as well just top him off here. 10x2, so that's enough. That I think it's gonna be actually 20 because it took he took 1 tick, so up to 49 out of 50. That's fine. It's pretty good. Hooah. Giant Slayer. You see, we just got a quirk.
Adequate performance for now. Keep it up.
Thanks, Dad. Accuracy and damage versus size 2. Risk taker. Like, all these different cool things. I kind of want these. Do I need so many torches?
The darkness will not impede us.
Torchless isn't as brutal in this one, which is nice. They had me do some torchless testing. I'm not going to spoil what's in torchless. There is an enemy that pops up in low light, but it's not Shambler. So that's all I'm going to tell you. Oh, this is really cool too. They added a type of room curio, which are vendors. So they have like this vending machine, which is like that ancient technology they talked about. And then they have an actual, I think, Levantine vendor, and you can give them, like, provisions. So this thing, you give it, I think, these. You might be able to give it other stuff. And then you get new things. Wow, that's crazy. Is it crazy? On friendly skill, reset healed buffs from this trinket. On melee attack hit, buff self, 3 additional HP healed. So that makes it so occultists can't roll 0, I think. I don't want to toss the last archaeology kit. I always feel like I need it. Like, these will get spent. So... why do I have 6 anti-venom? Did I buy this many? I'll take that. But yeah, so you get that vending machine, and then you get the Levantine vendor, which lets you do other stuff too, which is pretty fun. So I really like the vendor curio. I thought that was really smart. 5 crit versus targets below half HP, so that's 10% crit, minus 5 accuracy. That's not bad. Not bad. I think Man-at-Arms has some options for damage. Man-at-Arms can also go no damage in this. You can just go command and give everyone else riposte and stuff, which is pretty fun. It's our last shovel. That's good. That's pretty good. Hopefully there's no other obstruction in like one of these hallways. I don't know. There's also bandages. Yeah. This team did okay. Only had a couple fights though. Let's see if we can get one more fight. And then we'll wrap it up. Okay. Probably just fight this and back up and then camp. Maybe I won't camp. I was gonna say I might get an ambush. So, this is the archer I was talking about too. This dude. Wait, no, this isn't the archer. This is the captain buff. Ah, no archer. Feels bad. Double resist. This is a pretty scary fight. They have 2 jesters. They can just bomb us, like literally bomb us. Nice. Hitting the Rain of Sorrows in the prep round. That feels so satisfying. I shall guard you. Oh, is that the buff? No, wait, what buff are they doing? I don't know. You can do this to... oh no, he dodged! Can't use blinding gas either. I know we got enough damage there. I'm not sure if we did. TBH, we should probably be killing this one too. God, I'm so afraid. I don't wanna uppercut him and then just get both jesters up here where I'm just gonna die. Okay. I think the second bounty hunter is gonna go here. Yeah. No, we missed. Chakram interlude. That hit pretty hard. Yeah. Okay. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a crit here. We're gonna get hit by finale in a sec. I'm tempted to let it go. I'm a bit scared too. Switch a guard? No. Train slash. Oh, that hurt. I'm dying. Okay, that should stick. Yeah, okay. That's one. It's one bomb successfully disarmed. Try and get that guard off. Okay, didn't move him back. It's very important. Uh-oh. Minus 10 speed at Death Star. Still went first. Use the 10. 23, so he's dead. Just trying to clean these up. It's kind of greedy, but if we stick this bleed, we're fine. So this guy's gonna bleed out over next turn, and then this one dies this turn, and then this one dies as well, so. The thing I want to point out is the thing that like really stands out is people are gonna go, wow, the HP's so high, this and that. And it is, but if you noticed, we still ended the fight on turn 4, which if you watched my video that I put out, was it Sunday? When I put that video out? Monday. So if you watch that, one of the things I talked about was ending fights on turn 4. So even though the HP and stuff is much higher, you're still ending stuff at about the same pace. Alright, so since I'm pretty dead, I'm going to try and rest here, and then I'm going to end the video, so let's see what happens. There are camp skills. Oh, you get new different camp skills too, so everyone gets, like, instead of pep talk, actually I guess instead of some of them, so, like, something I don't know if I talked about, I think I mentioned it, scouting got way worse. It's not like default 50% at max torch anymore, which I believe vanilla game is. Instead, you get things like scouts. I think the baseline is like 15, so scouting is not that common. And secret rooms exist, but they're not, like, they said they're not done with what they want to do with secret rooms. So, like, I found one, and it was just like regular loot, not even trap gems. So, yeah, camp skills and stuff. Do we have an ambush preventer? I don't think so. Tracking got way better. Wow! That that is too strong for 2 points. Holy crap. I guess it doesn't matter because you have the prep round, but seems pretty good. Oh, I wish I could use this. Alright, let's camp up.
Rest. We will need your strength come daybreak.
Hopefully we don't die. No scouting. I don't really have any good camp skills, do I? My damage bounty hunter has different stuff. That sells. That's just producing money, I think. What if we get ambushed by size 2? It's possible. Why not? Alright. Alright, okay. We're good. Gonna leave. Hopefully we don't get like 6 diseases, because like I said, that's pretty common, feels like. I think PD got one. Yeah. So that's just one of my complaints, is how common diseases are. Even though they're like symptoms sometimes, but yeah. So that is Black Reliquary. Like I said, I will put it.
I wonder why these sands called out to you. The answer will reveal itself in time.
That's a town event. Guess I'll have to update my version. So yeah, that is Black Reliquary. Very cool stuff. Very fun, so shouts to the team behind it. I will link all their stuff under the video, and I will link to the mod itself. You can play right now if you want to. And that's it for this one. I'll see you next time.